Hello and welcome. Right, I have just set these two going on the field 11 at the bottom, and we now have to get the, we've got to grab everybody, all the rest. Yeah, this was down here and I thought, I've never seen that as you would not normally do the job, but I thought, can it do it? And yes, indeed it can. It can use that little, like that, some big windows. Right, I'm going to meet with you at the top of the field because we need now to bring down a lot of equipment to grab the grass, because we need to be sticking these in the bunker silos. Yeah, we can't be doing any more because I think, if I'm right, I remember rightly, there's way too much. I don't know. August, 61 tons of grass. That's managing quite nicely. August, September, October. I think we can do this normally. I think we can. I think we're going to be here till at least till December, really, with all of the work and that we've got to do. So, in that case, we shall leave these ticking over nicely. And yeah, why is that? Why are you doing that? You should not be doing. You should be going to first. Right. Okay. We need to be. I pressed a button and it actually worked rather than me actually doing that. Now I thought it was setting courseplay on, but I don't think it is. No, I think it's actually using some sort of the normal worker. So yeah, it's doing weird things. It is. So let's set courseplay going. I thought I'd found a new way to start courseplay. I don't think so somehow. Yeah, I think that's not quite worked to plan. Now that's more like it. The arrow goes green. Right, let's leave those two down here, and we're gonna we need another tractor for the windrower. Yeah, we do. Right. Okay. Or do we just? Yeah, we're not in a. No, we are in a way. It's just I shall see you up at the top end, and we're going to grab. I think the fastest vehicle we've got for coming down here is the Unimog. Let's start the mower at the top, the swather. Yeah, let's start this going on its path. I have set it already. Now I know that you've got to click the little green arrow. We're going to click the little green arrow. Right, let's grab the Unimog, and we're going to drive right down to the bottom. We need to start the windrower going down at the bottom. Yeah, these are the two tasks we've got. Whoa, and now that's going to cause some trouble. Yeah, we need to knock that out of the way a little. Oh, I'm still catching it. Yes, and I have got rather a strange story. Now, I've been creating content now for well over almost 2 years, I think. Definitely well over a year. Well over a year. I think it is. It's close to 2 years. It's got to be, actually, thinking about my previous job. Yes. And I have never ever had problems like I've got with one Riverside episode. There is one section of my recording that refuses to go into a time lapse, and it is the section where I say my words, where it really needs to go into a time lapse. So I'm at a bit of a dilemma. Now, I've tried it on 2 different computers, and I've tried it with 2 different. I've copied the recording and copied it over to the other machine. It doesn't matter what version I use. If I watch the video normally at normal speed, you can see pictures. As soon as I try to time lapse it and times 3 it, you get black and white, or grey and white stripes. Like it's almost like it destroys the video footage. So I have a bit of a dilemma as to what I've done. There was an hour and a half of footage. I'm wondering what I can do. Yeah, you can see the corn is so close. Yeah, next month, we are on our mega harvest. Yeah, so we're doing very well. But I thought I'm going to treat this properly. Yeah, so I've spent almost half of the night, I mean as in like setting things going, not actually literally awake all night. Yeah, trying different things, trying different computers, trying to do the recording, what's the word for it? Oh, it's not encrypt. It's sort of encrypt and decrypt, but decode. That's encode and decode. That's what we call it, where you're doing this. Yeah, I've tried encoding again, decoding, using a different codecs. I know it doesn't mean a lot, but basically there are lots of different ways to record footage, and I thought perhaps it's the codec that I'm using. So I tried another codec, and it did exactly the same thing. So then I tried it on another computer, and did exactly the same thing. So I am really now. Can I actually? have a look on the map. Is this... No, you can't. It goes left off the map. I was going to say, I know you can get down here. You have to take a right and swing round. Unless you were going to be very brave and drive straight across the field ahead, which is massive. And I think there's a hedge at the top. And, right, we need to be checking. Yeah, I thought I'd just bring you down with me, because it's very rare do we actually come down the road. We've sent workers down here a lot, and it's nice. Yeah, we have been down, of course. Yeah, so I'm at a massive dilemma. I have got really no other course. As I keep saying to you about chain of evidence, and I have the footage, but it's going to say, and I'm going to say my words, but then it's not going to go into a time lapse, because every single time I do the time lapse, it breaks the footage. I have never ever in my 2 years career and in all of the editing I've ever done seen anything quite like it. I've also not only gone to those lengths, but also tried a second editor. I don't use DaVinci Resolve a lot. I know it's supposed to be #1, but I actually get better results with another piece of software, and also understand that piece of software better. It's also the encode size is much smaller footprint than DaVinci, so I stopped using DaVinci quite a long time ago. But I updated it today, and it doesn't even read. Now, apparently that's because you need the encoders, so I bought the encoders. I'm going to have another go of that. That is my final hope that the so-called world's #1 piece of encoding software will do it, or the most renowned that most people are aware of. That's what I'm sort of saying. Yeah, everybody's got their favourites and things that they work better with, no matter what people sort of say or give things labels. Yes. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Why is that? Yeah, so I'm a bit rattled, if I'm honest. Yeah, it's sort of ruined. I'm still trying to split it into two, but there's going to be, obviously, the footage that normally would be a time-lapse cannot be a time-lapse. So it's going to be one of those things where you're going to like think, what's he doing? No, what? That is flying. That was definitely flying. We saw you. So you see, I used to think that was Hobo's Hollow. There's a Hobo's Hollow fault with that. I just thought it was a map, but I've seen it on Stone Valley and lots of other things. So this is definitely a Giants issue. It's not a map issue. It's an every map issue, which means it's a Giants problem. Well, I thought that stopped. Why have you started the indicator on again? I did not re-click that button. Right then, let's set this going, but I think we need to give it a little bit more time, and I definitely don't want to be starting the Vermeer, or I don't know. Yeah, I think we're going to need to guard, I think. And that's the point. We can't use this with that. Although this hitch is as big as a back one, it responds in a slightly different way to a tractor, as I sort of said a few sessions ago. If you stick the bale pusher on this, it like rises up. It does a very strange thing. So yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, so I'm a bit of a dilemma really. I've done quite a few recordings, and that one I've literally been over it and literally probably wasted nearly all of Saturday actually trying different attempts at trying to fix this, and I've come to the conclusion so far that it is unfixable. Right, so we want I believe it's a 7.8. Load, activate. Do we start it going now? Yes, because this does take a while. We don't want any of that. We want first. We don't want to see anything. And we want to go. Right, Vermeer. What should we set going on this? I'm hoping that we can. Well, we have some fuel for you, Vermeer. I think I'm going to do this. Still going to go into a time lapse, but I think I'm going to do this because I can, move out the way the bales, which seemingly the workers can't. But first of all, we need fuel. Yeah, so I thought we weren't going to be able to do this because of the amount of grass we were still going to have, but somehow that has actually got through all of that grass and it's been processed, so that is quite amazing. Right, anyway, yes, I am going to go straight into a time lapse this is the job for today. And at the top we are going to have to grab, that's the point. Yeah, I'm going to stop this end for a little, for a minute. What we're going to do is I'm going to go up to the top, and we're going to set one of the forage wagons, because I would imagine the big one should be able to do the top one in one. So I'm going to see you at the top of the farm. That's us at the top. Just checking I'm recording. Having so much trouble. Yeah, I'm really a bit floundering. You do get issues though. I think sometimes these things are set to try as and you usually resolve them, or they just fade away into the background. So yeah, I'll be keeping a close eye, and it's just par for the course. Yeah, bad things do happen to us human beings, so it's just one of those things. I'm going to put it down to experience, as the old saying goes. I've loaded the course on this one in readiness for grabbing at the I am looking forward to using the swather pack though, now that we've got the swather mod, the actual mod that will work on other maps, released. I think it was last Friday, or might have been Thursday. I am looking forward to actually using the swather to get these very nice bonuses that it actually has. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to doing that. Right, so then let's just get you over at the back, and then we're going to pop back down the bottom. We're going to get into a time lapse, and we're going to be baling for quite some time. Yeah, it's appropriate, I think, that I do the baling. It's a big long job, and I'm just going to chill and sit back and just have some fun. There was the other one here, the 30 tonner. Oh well, I can always swap these if I need to, if we get full, which, to be honest, I still think it's going to be more than this one. In fact, I suppose what we could do, bearing that in mind, is we could grab the other one as well, and I'll pop up. So I might need the worker to take over, and I'm going to pop between the two ends. Yeah, I'll stop the recording so that you can't, not to, I'm still, why is that indicator not, I think I must keep catching it for more than a second and switching it back on. Yeah, let's take them both. I would say that both of them should just about manage, but you never know. I can't say to be sure. Well, yeah, I think we will have enough of that in. The silage additive, I think that would do those, because the other one's about full. Yeah, so all we have left to do after this is any selling, and there's obviously the bit of clothes, and there's the massive corn harvest. Yeah, now obviously we may need to put a grain quid pro, or no, I don't think we will. Or we may. I'm trying to think of how we're going to deal with that. Yes, we might have to, thinking about it. Yeah, I'm just thinking of the mechanics. I do love the fact that we have discovered how the Grain Quid Pro works. Again, it's like all these things. Right, we don't want nearest, we want first. And we need to shift the swather out of the way. Oh, and of course he's making a beeline, or she's making a beeline for it. Yes, all that remains, it's feeling very real. It was like the last couple of episodes of Rhombos. Yeah, it really does begin to feel very real, which is, but all good things do come to an end. It is true, as that old saying goes. Let's try and get that right. I don't think that's far off. Yeah, I don't think that, I've never seen that do the jump on that they normally do to header trailers, so I think it is definitely unique in so much as you just strap it on, which I'm quite happy with that as well. Right, then let's leave myself enough room to get out. In fact, let's stop the engine. Right, okay then, so I think that's, to be honest, I think what I ought to do is just hang around for this first, because this is going to fill quickly, and yeah, I think we're going to take control, and then we're going to go down the bottom. In fact, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to set the Vermeer going now at the bottom, and I should be back shortly. See you in a minute. I'm not going to start the cameras down the end. You know what I'm going to do. I'm going to pop straight back here. So I'm going to see you back up here in a minute. Right. Just check the recording started. Yes, that's the one thing I do like to make sure, because I That really did not take. Wow, yeah, I think we're doing this ourselves. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the time lapse. I'm going to finish this field off, and then we're going to pop down the bottom, and I'm going to take over the veneer, and I'm going to do the baling. Or I'm going to do the baling for a bit, because I tell you what, I'm also going to need to grab the Anderson, aren't I? And I can't be in two places at once, so it makes far more sense to juggle a little. Yeah, so it's not me being lazy, I'm going to be doing something else as well. Otherwise we're going to have a massive backlog of bales at the end that I can't sort of do. So yeah, I think we're going to be here till probably December, January, sorting out. We shall see, but do we go loose as I planned? I just think it's going to be way too massive, if I'm honest. I do. This is the smaller. Let's grab the big one. It will at least last a little longer. Anyway, dilemmas. I think we're going to stick to the plan. We'll stick to what we've done now, and hopefully, it did process that little lot quickly. Yeah, it did. Although, when did it run out? I'm not sure. Oh, I am going straight past this. Anyway, I'm going to say my words. Yeah, we're going to get this done then. We're going to go down the bottom, and we are going to do that little lot. So I'm going to say my words. I'm going to see you guys and gals on the other side. can't remember anything like this on FS19. I've seen it a lot of times, but never so pronounced as now. Yeah, it follows you. I have seen that, and there's sometimes you think it's like, you know, your figment of your imagination, but that is awful. Honestly, I can't recall ever seeing anything quite like that on FS19. Yeah, it really. It's yes, it defies physics. It is what it is. Yeah, giants. This is one thing that you really ought to have a look at because it is a little bit weird. I think it has got worse. Whatever fixes have been applied recently in some of the bigger. I mean, no, it's not the map. It's definitely not the map because it happens on all of them. It really does. I have seen it. It's not. I've never seen it so pronounced. But I have seen out the corner of your eyes where it's like it drags the grass from the surrounding area a little bit. It grabs mainly from the windrow you're on, but also seems to drag it from the next windrow down as well. I have noticed it and not tried to draw anyone's attention to it. I think I mentioned it once, but yeah, I do try not to, but you can't really ignore the elephant in the room this time. It's just a little bit too obvious. I was looking earlier, as I'm sure you will have already seen in the video, but yeah, now that is really terrible. I've taken my time at my turn in the Vermeer even. Yes, I have. I had forgotten how big of a monster this field was. This is a beast. It really is. Yeah, and I've got to be honest, I always thought, what's the map in FS19? Oxygen Davids. Oh, it was something Manor, Marwell Manor. I loved that. That had one of the biggest grass fields that you got. Oh, well, they were all big fields that you got given. There was the huge one by the farm, and there was the grass one that you were given. That was a weird shape as well. But you got well over 100 odd bales. Well over. Was it more? Well more than that. It was the most bales I think at that time I'd ever done, and that was the Let's Play. I always measured a big baling contract or a big field, and this this is a beast. This definitely beats that. Whether it's the how good the fields are, or whether, you know, like, these windrows are massive. Look at that. And this is only an 8-point something. Can you imagine if we did the 20-meter windrow on that? That would be an absolute monster. It's like, yeah, the... Oh, you're not going to pick that up. You're really not. That is eats. Yeah. Yeah, that's... Yeah, it really is strange. Very, very strange. I mean, the Vermeer does manage well, but yeah, when I was missing bits, and I did keep going back a little bit. Some of it was position. There was the odd time when my position wasn't right. Yeah, that is really weird. Really strange. Right, anyway, let's concentrate on the job at hand. Yeah, I just thought I'd come out of the time-lapse a minute and just mention that. That's so really weird. It is. Yeah, I wanted to get this done. As I said, I always like to treat the Let's Play as you're as a human, you know it's coming to an end, and it can fall into that trap of thinking, it don't matter now, it don't matter. But yeah, then how can you... Yeah, and it is true, I'm not going to do another one. This will be the last, no matter what, because the drawing from this, even like if I did another silage run and it was loose, to be honest, we're going to have to be processing that much corn silage that there really is no time for us to do any more. It would go till next March, I think, if we had to do that, and that's not fair. I would like to I think we've done well enough and hung around for long enough, really, up to 9 million, and obviously there's an awful lot more. We're going to go right till... I wouldn't be surprised if we don't touch 12 million, and that might be conservative. It really might. Which means this will be second only to giant original rhombos. Yeah, that was the the Let's Play that I always thought broke the mould, really. Yeah, that is. I don't think I'll ever top that, but I mean, I've got to be honest. I didn't think any other Let's Play would come anywhere close to that. Usually, I think 7 million is one of the best. What did we do on Stone Valley? I think it was a 4, maybe 5, 6 at a push. But this is easily going to be. I mean, don't get me wrong. This has had, mind you, that was hard economy. You can't really. You could double whatever we did on Stone Valley, because obviously hard economy is half of what normal is, and we're on normal here, and we would be double if we were on easy. Each one doubles or halves from the one before. So no, I think that is right. I'm sure I've heard that others say that as well. In fact, we've seen it ourselves on now that's yes, the other American map, the I can't think of its name, Rogue River Valley, is that right? RRV, Rogue River Valley, I think that's right. That requires a new save game, so we will do it. I think it was what I said. One of the things fixed was, I don't think the River Sand is going to be called River Sand anymore. I think it's got another name. They're going to just call it something else. But yeah, that the one that wasn't working, that I realised wasn't working. There's been a few changes, so yeah, we will be doing. I think I did mention this the other day, actually, thinking about it. Yeah, I said I was just going to swizzle my XMLs. I'm going to try that one. That one should work if I. The only bad thing is that if the fields have been changed at all, then when you take your XML, you're taking your ground layer. Anything you've done to the grounds gets taken with you. So yeah, I've got to be careful. Might only need to take. Yeah, I might have to do it a different way, not take the farmlands with me, but just literally grab the equipment and then sort of buy the fields again. But the only thing that is going to obviously come a cropper is crop rotation and whatever's in the fields, and obviously we've done some field work, so that's why I'd like to take the farmlands. We did it on Agres, and it did sort of bite us because JM Gaming had changed some of the fields, and you could see crops growing where he'd shrunk a field or something like that, and it looked strange. And it didn't actually. I always suspected it was that caused the sugar beet, but this year we had exactly the same problems. Not quite so pronounced, but still it was just as bad. I think it was the little harvesters, so maybe something on the map. It may have been a combination of the two, but yeah. We used the normal sugar beet harvester, and that didn't break a sweat. It just literally grabbed everything as on any other map, on any other Let's Play. So yeah, which then makes you think perhaps it is those little mini harvesters, or as I've said before, with the forestries, you could have the forestries and not have the trouble that I did, which Milk That Hen had when he had a go. He didn't have any issues at all with the forestries, but we had massive issues with it. It was missing and doing all sorts of things. It could be that I had a mod that was conflicting with the forestry, and obviously it does come to that choice, as Disturbed Simulations put it in when he was doing his how he fixes when he gets mods that crash, and he was basically saying it boils down to switching them on and off again, and also when you know it's 6 or 7 different mods, you have to choose the mods that you want the most, because you don't really know which one it is. You can get down to half a dozen, and you could switch them on and off randomly, and you can think when you do get down to your last 2 or something, if you do go that extravagantly that you go right to the last bit, then at that point you'd have to literally choose between which of the mods you wanted to get rid of, which one you could live without, I think were his words, and it's true. Yes. Oh, we're not doing badly actually. Yeah, 4 or 5 rows left to do. And it has helped. It is amazing now when you do it as a human. It is so much better than when the AI does it, because obviously you can whisk in and fix things and save the day. Let's just quickly grab that, because it is going to get caught eventually when the Vermeer gets down to there, I think. Or is that the very last row and it's not going to affect things? Yeah, I think it actually was. I don't think it would have affected something, but yeah, at least this way it's all sorted. Wow, still money's still going up with what we did earlier, all of the work we did. Amazing. Yes, I've got to be honest. I wanted to come on this because obviously Marty suggested going on this, but I didn't. Let's just watch this while we've got minutes. Yeah, it wasn't one. I did play the Missy B one, and the fields there were some monster fields. I think I did say this on one of the sessions where you literally I got lost doing a fertiliser contract or a liming contract. No, it would be fertilising because they didn't do liming ones. They do. Yeah, we've got that mod now, but. Yeah, it was one of the liming contracts and I got lost. It took me so long. It was such a massive field. So yeah, I had some rather bad memories from that one. They were very big fields like they are on this actually, to be honest. But I think this is a little bit more balanced. Yeah, I'm really well impressed with Missy B's work. The only thing that I was a little bit upset with was actually going down to a farm with only 200 animals. I was really looking forward to doing the 800 cows. I thought that would be a massive challenge. I think it would have completely changed the way that we'd have done things though, because 800 cows are going to require an awful lot of, I mean, don't get me wrong, millions would have come into our bank account, millions and millions from the fertiliser business, because we would have had 4 times the amount of manure and slurry. That's 4 times the income, so that would have been humongous, but also it would have been a massive undertaking, it really would. It may have got so difficult to manage that amount of cows that we would have had to end the Let's Play a year earlier because you just couldn't manage to carry on. Rombos was a bit of a struggle. Yeah, it was the hardest. The Rombos Mark 1, the proper Rombos, the actual new farmer start, that was a monster. The fields and everything were massive. I mean, that made this look positively small by the amount, and that was the big Heston baler. It would literally, I think was it 250, 300 bales, and they were the 10-ton of pot bales. So that is an awful lot. 2005, yeah, 2.5 million litres. Yeah, of grass. Is that right? 2,500. I think that's right, 2.5 million. I'm sure that was right. It seems an astronomical amount, but it was a monster. It really was. We're not doing badly. We're pretty much keeping up with the. We've caught up a couple of times, and I've just gone through that bale. Yeah, we have. We've caught up a couple of times, and then I thought, well, if I don't get on with grabbing the bait, if I don't get into the Vermeer, it's just going to crack on, and I'm not going to. So we almost caught up with it, and I thought, right, now's my opportunity. Let's jump in the windrow, go up the rows, and let's jump into the Vermeer and let's do a few rows. Yeah, because I hate saying I'm going to do something and then not doing it. You're basically making yourself a liar. I know you can't always help it, but yeah, I don't like that at all. Yes, so so I'm still, obviously there's going to be a one and it's hard. I'm going to put a note in the, what do you call it? Not. Obviously, every time you post an episode, there is a description. The thing is, I don't ever read them on Mr. Sealy P's ever. I don't think that people would mind either. Maybe some people do. So those few people that do will know that I'm obviously going to ask for apologies, because obviously I can't help the fact that I said I was going to go into a time lapse and then couldn't. I don't know whether to cut the time lapse out completely, the bits, and just write a note to say apologies, the time lapse went wrong, but then it looks like you're trying to hide something. I suppose what I could do, I could make a note similarly to that and just say the time lapse went wrong. And if you fast forward, I think it would be 18 minutes worth of time lapse, because it goes down to 6 minutes if it was times 3. So how is he doing? Yes, he's doing. Yeah, because I cleared the bales at the bottom so that they couldn't capture it. Yeah, couldn't get caught at all. Right, let's stick this up. So yeah, I've never known that to happen before. The other thing is, I used to always use a constant bitrate with the NVIDIA card. Now I've chosen constant bitrate with the AMD, but it seems to still make it. I think it's the codec for the AMD overrides it and does it as a variable bitrate, and Shotcut says it doesn't like that, and neither does DaVinci Resolve. So again, it's the AMD card isn't working well with other things. But this is the very first one I've ever had any major issues with. I've never had any other episode where it's done that, where I just can't knock it down to a time lapse where it goes. It's almost like one of the test cards that you get on. Now I'm showing my age now. A lot of people won't remember the test cards that you used to get on the television. Some in the 70s, I would say it would have been. There was a test signal that BBC had, which had a picture of a girl and like grey and white lines, and it was a test signal. It was called the test signal, and it was very much like that. So there's a few people that may remember what the test signal is. The rest of you will have to Google it. Yeah, the BBC had a test signal on BBC Two, because there were times when the channel wasn't switched on. Now, in this age of 24/7 television where the channels never rest, well, I suppose no, they still do, don't they? Yeah, BBC probably isn't on during the night, or is it? I mean, is it? That is true. I'm not up at the middle of the night, so actually, I know. I think the channel, don't they get switched off? I don't know. With not being a night owl, I really well, he says that. I do episodes of this when I have a restless night. I don't watch television. There's too much zombies and occult and violence and death, and yeah, it's not nice. Yeah, of course, those who enjoy these type of things would, not think that that's true. But I prefer to let people laugh at me with my at work that I play Farming Simulator, because I'd sooner play something nice and creative than I would. Not that I haven't had my fair share of playing Quake when I was younger, and Doom, although the graphics obviously, well, they were good for the time, and obviously not realistic now, but it really, again, although graphics do make a game to a degree, I've always thought some of the best games I've ever played have been terrible graphics, and you've only got to look at Minecraft to realise that really it's not graphics that make a game. That phenomenon proves that it's not always about fantastic graphics that make a game a massive hit. And there are a lot of old games that were fantastic, that were really quite poor graphics, that were fantastic for the time. That when I think of Manic Miner, what they did in machine assembly language with megabytes of RAM, not gigabytes, megabytes. They literally level upon level upon level of fantastic graphics for the era, and for the they really knew how to get the most out of a machine, which is, I think, wasted on programmers today. You've got so much more that you can use special tools to make games, and like, what do you call it? They sort of make modules. A lot of games now are made from like module makers and then put together by, so there's not. I don't mean don't get me. There are an awful lot of C++ programmers, and Java, I would say, is probably one of the biggest. But again, it's using C+ uses and pulls in compiles the libraries, so other people's work that makes things happen. So and that's not, that's progress in a way. I'm not saying the programmers today are rubbish, not at all. They have there's a lot more assistance from themselves, from each other with the programming languages, and because there are more programmers, the likes of Minter and the really old school fantastic programmers of like these 80s, that would be, I think, I think it would be 80s when I had my Amiga and there was the Atari ST as well, which again, that's the bad side of where I think piracy destroyed the Atari ST and the Amiga, really, because obviously the programmers would invest thousands, and piracy was done on such a big scale that the programming houses, I would imagine, pulled out because they couldn't make any money, and that's a shame. I'm glad that's a bad side of piracy when things go that bad. I'm glad the programming houses and the gaming houses have found ways to stop that happening. I mean, I know it still goes on, but not on the same scale, because you've only got to look Farming Simulator. The amount of money that Giants has made from that, I think it was the biggest selling game last year. I'm sure I read that somewhere, so I'm sure I didn't imagine that. So that's phenomenal, and I'm not surprised. It is an amazing game, and it doesn't have any kind of bloodletting, violence, or anything nasty. Although it has, in my personal opinion, I've been a gamer all my life. I mean, I've played the X universe, X2, X3, Elites, and the new Elites. All of those. The original, actually, that Elite came from, with its which I still think beats the modern one, even though obviously graphically it doesn't. But it was such a fantastic game. Again, it wasn't graphics that made that. It was really quite sparse graphics, but it was a fantastic concept, and the universe was massive. It really was. And then they did a remake that was too good. I used to remember seeing the Aspect Explorer crash into my screen, and then the next thing I got that rest in peace because I'd been killed by its blue laser. And anybody who's ever met an Aspect Explorer that's going to destroy you in one single laser beam hit, then that's the last thing you see. It did sort of knock, again, that was it. Sometimes games, the remakes were too good, and no one likes being pasted into the ground where you die in a second. It's just too hard. It totally, from the original Elite to that Elite, the release, it was, it didn't do very well, actually. So I think I wasn't the only one to feel that way, that it was, the play balance is so important. I mean, there are other Farming Simulator games, and like a lot of people, I've tried the 2 or 3 competitors to Giants, and I've got to be honest, they are nowhere near up to scratch on the depth of gameplay. Even with the weirdness as we see, this game is, as I've said, I think I upset one of the viewers a few weeks back. Because he said, well, why are you playing the game? Or it's sort of like, if you don't, I do like it, I love it a lot. I just think that, I've been let down a little bit. And I know don't get me wrong, it is a complicated game. I know this, coming from a computer background, I know it is a massive program, but we keep on getting released content that we're all paying more and more for all the time, and yet the game itself is still very badly bugged, and that it's been ignored. So of course I'm going to keep saying that. I am. One day I hope Giants will listen. I know I remember Frithgar going on about it. Like myself, he was not being critical. He was just saying, I think it was one of the mowers, that you just let it go, and it was a known fault. Lots of people had reported it, and Giants basically said, we're happy with it as it is. It just dropped heavily on the floor, like, in a way that obviously was not, it was totally graceless. It's not a major thing, but it is, it was a known thing that it shouldn't have done that, and it was horrible and jarring and bad, and Frithgar did bring that to light, and I agree with him totally. And there's another thing of that, there's some of these faults, I don't suppose they do, it's not the end of the universe as we know it or anything like that, but these windrows with jaggedy bits missing, and the broken messaging system, now they are the messaging system more than anything else. When you jump in a tractor and you get the message that you should have got 10 minutes before that would told you it was, there's certain messages that aren't broken, and that's the forage wagon will always tell you that it's full. Those kind of messages, they're brilliant. But the ones where balers are blocked by an object, or the blocked by an object message itself is frequently not, just doesn't come, and then you'll jump in the tractor and then it'll show you. You get a delayed message. I saw it on Agres, one of the last sessions that we did, and I actually mentioned it on that. Wow, we're nearly there. 3 more rows, I think. And we'll have a look to see how much, how many, how much, as in thousands of litres of this that we've got. We've actually caught the baler up. We'll run these down. They'll grab this last bale, and then we will take them back. We did a fairly good clean up. There's a bit up here that obviously on the turnaround that got missed a little. I think there's this corner up there on the right. I did the one on the left, I think. Yes, I did. And I did the big one. There's a right mess right down by at the bottom, so I've cleaned that up. Right, sorry, my daughter was I don't know whether there's a spider around or what, but yeah, she was making rather a lot of noise. I think her friend's here, I think. So if there's a lot of noise, it's not me. Yeah, so this probably is the very last time that we will do this. As I say, I know September, October, no, but November would be 3rd growth stage again. Is that right? September, October, November. Yeah, it would be 3rd growth stage. But I don't cut on in November, never have done. We could cut 2nd growth stage in, but we're going to be so busy, like with the aftermath of the corn harvest, that I'll still say, like any farmer, even a real farmer, there's only so much you can do. Although you may call contractors in, well, of course I can't really do that. Even with workers, I can only control so much at any one time, so I will be good to myself on that. Again, it was a bit like I said on Rombos Mark II, on the Start From Scratch Rombos. It's the aftermath as well. It's not always just the mowing, or it's like how long it takes to process things and that type of stuff as well. Yeah, I still think we may not quite have processed this in time as we're thinking of leaving, because I can't remember. I mean, when we ran out of the last lot, we went all over the winter, I seem to recall. I think it was March. So that's, and then obviously we did the last cut, the first cut this year, and that's just about run out now. So that's March, April, May, June, July, August. That's 5 months that we've had to get rid of that. And of course I don't know what month we did finish the processing, if I'm honest. And I do realise we've been chattering for the last 25 minutes, 30 minutes. This is going to be a bit of a monster session. I might need to split it into 2. But this is the last cut of grass on this map, and we're so close to 9 million now. At least we did do that, all of those last little bits of crop as well. It is a shame about the Omatana, the oat drink. This is the second Let's Play that's got snarled up, so either I've got a mod that's clashing with that, which again is it could, part of that is a possibility. It really is, because it's happened on Stone Valley the same. Now that one I always thought, because there was another one, I think it was a Cafe by the Lort, that did a similar thing, almost called the same, and it seemed to be about, no, actually I think it was before we placed that, if I remember rightly. So I'm not sure, but I'm tempted not to use it, which is an absolute shame, because it really is a good little learner. Again, it's not a monstrous one, but it's about on par with the one thing I would like to do on Purbeck. Is actually work out whether the Otis business is worse than selling the inputs, because I think if you sell a lot of honey and if you sold a lot of oats and a lot of corn, I swear you'd get more than you do for the combined, which Mr. CLP said something earlier when I was watching his, and it is true. You've got to pick now that I was this seed maker that we saw that Kevin told me about, that I said was a bit unreal. Well, the one on Edgewater, Saskatchewan, that one leaves that standing. It does 20,000 seeds an hour. It costs you 330,000, but yeah, I don't know why Mr. CDP's worrying, because I was doing the maths and I thought you're easily going to break even on that. It basically conjures them up from nowhere. In other words, it buys which is why it's so expensive. It's actually, I quite like it because it is true to life. The productions are bringing in, and people are getting quite creative with the productions now. Basically, it's simulating that you're buying in all of the constituent parts for your seed maker. So you don't put an input in, it just costs you an absolute fortune every hour because you're buying everything in. So it's like the cost of you buying the wheat and the barley and all the chemicals you need to make the seeds, that is all worked out. But you basically do make quite a lot of money. Not stupendous, but for saying you've not got to put an input in, it's a business that's going to make you quite a lot of money. It was 330,000. It was going to cost $1 per month, and if you work out 20,000 per hour, I think it was per hour, that's 20,000 times 24, that's 200, that's 480,000, something like that, I think is what I worked out, which 480,000 times 2 or 3 grand is just under $1 million. So yeah, he's going to do alright out of it. Even take the 330,000 off, even if you're anywhere near, you're still going to make probably double that. So that's going to be one of the most lucrative, cheeky businesses that I've seen to date, really. Yeah, that's why I refuse to do. I want it to be realistic. I want there to be a challenge element. The fertiliser business is good, and of course you can go for the really stupendously good. Ours are good, but believably good. The one that we've gone for, the 100,000 one that we've got, that is my favourite of that. Its cycles, its losses are much less than any other, and the profits are good, and the cycles are reasonable. Yeah, whereas the Otis business, the furniture business, you make about £4,000, euros or dollars, depending on your currency, and that's not a lot of money, really. It's hardly worth you buying the business. I mean, I worked that one out day one because it was the business of choice, because I was on no man's land, and I thought, well, trees, there's going to be loads of trees, so I put that in. And I thought, what profit am I making? And it wasn't that you weren't making profit, it's because the cycles were so small that you weren't making any profit. So it was, one of those businesses you think, well, I'm not going to ever do that again. I mean, we've done it on Purbeck because it was supply, but I've got 3 of them on the go now. The equivalent to having 3. The planks one is slightly more lucrative than the standard one, but 4,000 is not a lot of income from a business for you having to lay out 80 grand or 70 grand or whatever. And then of course we've had to do the sawmilly type thing as well. We didn't have to, but we have, which has enhanced it. So we were earning about 13,000 from the wood business. The real business is that's churning up the money. And again, the Otis one, likewise, I really did. When I started to do the maths, the basic maths, I'm not worked out properly. I thought, this is. I'm sure if we sell the inputs, that we're going to make more from the oats, the honey, and the corn than we are from the actual Otis business. Yeah, the actual cost just doesn't seem to add up. Now I'm going to work this out, so I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. But for the effort that you've got to put in, we are putting the effort in. But if I do the maths, and I will literally pull it up on Purbeck, so I've done a Word document or something like that, and I'll pull it up for everyone to see. I'm going to do the maths just to make sure, because it seems awfully close. It's not a business that I think I'd ever want ever again. Yeah, the 2 businesses, they're not really lucrative. I mean, it's a good job we've got the wood yard that really is offsetting that, because without that, I'd hate to think how terribly we'd be doing. I mean, that's keeping up with 3 or 4 businesses. Yeah, we've got from the Platinum expansion, the smaller version of the big wood mill. Obviously the big wood thing on Silverrun's the massive one that cost you an awful lot of money. This is like a cut down version of that. I think it was, yeah, still Platinum expansions. I think it's just been released in the latest update. It's like either that or it's a modded one, but it does the same thing. So I suspect it's the Platinum expansion, and it's for obviously other maps rather than just Silverrun, so that you can take that into any map. And again, that is doing us proud. That really is bringing in quite a lot of cash, because again, I think Giants themselves must have done the maths and realised it is a bit poor, or they've heard a lot of people say, well, this business is just not viable. Who's going to choose a business that's poor? You know, you're just not going to ever buy it, do it again. You're going to like do it once and then think, I'm hardly making any money. I mean, if you can make more money from your doing old-fashioned farming, why would you buy a production for 80 grand or 100 grand or whatever? You just wouldn't, would you? You've got all that costs associated with the business, and if your business is hardly breaking even, then that's the entire prima as a business, which is what Mr. CLP was saying. No one's going to go into a business if you're going to lose money, because it's going to bankrupt you. It's true. I mean, we've picked our partners well, and I've learned a lot. The sugar business was okay. Not an absolute. You're not going to get rich with it, but you're going to make money. The oil business was probably the one that I found early on that was the most lucrative of the Giants default ones. I've not done them all, but I did do some where you're looking at the cycles and you think, nah. And I mean, the Otis business, now that we have done that on Purbeck, I stick to my guns that I do truly think I was right. That isn't a terribly fantastic one. Yeah, I often go for the non-based Giants ones. In fact, I don't think I ever put them down apart from the early days of Elm Creek when I did do the proper, because that's all you had got. I'd worked out that the sugar and the oil business both did okay. Well, but yeah, I mean, again, sometimes I was playing on hard economy. That obviously is part of it, but right, I think this is it. Fantastic. This is the last bale then of the map. Right, let me just see how close we are to. Oh, I think we're just going to do a bit of cleanup and make one more bale. I truly do. Let's just see. I do like the way you can actually look underneath and make sure that you've dropped your. Yeah, that's done. I love the way this steers. It is absolutely fantastic. In fact, if anything, it's so sensitive that you can actually go over. You can actually miss it, which I've done quite a few times. Yes, it really is. I mean, it is an amazing way that it actually glides over. It's like turns. Well, yeah, like that. I've just totally missed that windrow because it's just so good. We can make one more bale. I know we can. I know there's some at the top as well if we start to run short here, but I think we'll be alright. Yeah, so end of an era. I am looking forward to getting on Purbeck, even though I've just been moaning about it. Well, I'm not really moaning. It's I hope that you do realise I'm really being. It's constructive criticism, and it is true. It is as in real life where you 86%. I've forgotten it's 3.5 tons, isn't it? A bit more than I was thinking. 3,000. It's 3,005. Still, there's quite a few bits and bobs here. Yeah, I'm saying it as I see it. I know it's perhaps not politically correct, but I just think that I'm straight. I say it if I think things are bad and it might get me into trouble, but nevertheless I was brought up that way. I'm not going to, if I don't like you, I'm going to tell you I don't like you. Yay! Fantastic. Not that I make a habit of telling people I don't like them. But what I mean is I'm not one of those who smiles sweetly while stabbing you in the back. No, I'll leave you alone. And yeah, oh, restart the engine again. Wow, so there we go. That is us done. The last, yeah, field is. Oh, yeah, let's just finish off. Let's grab that last bale and let's stick these in, and we're going to have a look. Yeah, because at the other session, the other day, I realised that I'd actually not showed you. I'd worked hard, and obviously the normal thing that you should be doing is showing you when you've like looked. Did that? No, it didn't. I must have been still putting the arm down, because it ignores you until the arm's up, and then it'll listen to you pressing the buttons. Yeah, obviously that you would like to see how well we did. I mean, the counts on the bale count, I've not reset that for a while. I think this was maybe the second or third foray, so 900 and something. So it is about 300 bales a time, which is an awful lot of bales. Right, let's have a look. How much grass have we thrown into that bad boy? 1,017,972, and that is not including the 3 bale odds that it's actually processed. Ooh, what did I say about the water? That we would be okay for the water. Wow, we need to stick a couple in quickly. Wow, I didn't expect that. Right, let's grab hold of that. I'm going to stick, 2 or 3 loads of this water in off camera, because that is definitely, the digestate. Wow, I can't get over how much that's used. We really ramped. No wonder we're making so much money. Oh, yeah, that is phenomenal. Right. Anyway, all that remains to be said for this session is tomorrow morning. No, we'll literally go through the night, and we'll do a little bit of a time lapse before we do the field work, and then we're going to get on with the monster. That is probably going to be 2 or 3 sessions, if I'm honest, because that is going to be monstrous. It really is. Yeah, but obviously this is the end of this session. So yeah, I truly do hope that you stick with me on these last few sessions on Riverside, because yeah, it's coming to a close. Yeah, end of an era, and our money, we have done so very well on this farm. Yeah, in fact, we've picked our partners well. You can honestly say that. Yeah, and I'm going to say goodbye for now.